Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on our post-COVID webcast series. Today, I'm grateful to have my friend and colleague, Nina Dutta, of the Dutta Law Firm in New York City. Nina is an immigration attorney with a focus on business visas mostly, as well as Department of Labor compliance and I-9 audits. She's also kind of like a really ever-ready bunny, volunteering her time and expertise at various organizations, including American Immigration Lawyers Association, AILA, where we both serve as elected directors on AILA's Board of Governors. These days, she's also running a campaign to get elected as secretary of AILA's executive committee. AILA's election starts next week. Good morning, Nina, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to see you. Nice to see friendly faces these days.
Yes, we don't see each other as often since this thing hit. So, Nina, how are you coping? How are you coping personally and also in your immigration practice?
I think, like anyone, it's been such an up and down experience. You know, there are some days when you're on a Zoom call with a bunch of friends and you see colleagues and, you know, you kind of have like a bit of fun, you can have a happy hour. And then there are other days when you feel completely overwhelmed. You know, you see the work piling up, you know, it's frustrating, you're seeing proclamations. So it's, you know, it's a mixed bag, but it's nice to know that there's other people going through it as well.
Right. It's kind of like a roller coaster, really. You go up and down, exactly like you said, and you try to just go forward as normal as possible, but it's not always possible.
Absolutely. And I think we all have to give ourselves a break. You know, there's all of these, you know, super, like be productive and like, you know, get up at 7 and like make sure you go for, you know, a bike ride and then do like 3 hours of yoga and then start work. And, you know, if that makes you feel great, do it. Absolutely. You know, and, but you don't have to bake bread to make it through the pandemic.
So how has COVID changed your business practices? For example, how are you meeting with clients? And if so, how and how often? How has that played into your practice?
Yeah, great question. I think that moving forward, nothing's ever going to be the same. You know, I previously, you know, meeting clients in person was such a, you know, big thing, and I think that's just not going to be possible. The changes I've made is from, you know, we always had in my office the ability to work remotely, but you know, it was, call it happenstance, the day before New York really went dark, I made sure that everyone had equipment. You know, we had a few different lines of communication, and you know, I check in with my team pretty often, and we're a small team, but nonetheless, you know, we make sure that everyone knows what they're doing, and things are taking a little longer still, but for clients in particular, you know, having the availability of video calls, Zoom calls. Not every client has a computer at home. So if they have a smartphone, like being open to doing a WhatsApp video call with them, or, you know, just making sure you're flexible. You know, I've had to give out my home address so that people can send me, you know, certain documents, but thankfully, you know, we have the ability to send scanned documents, but you know, basically making it as easy as possible for clients to be able to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I've been amazed at how flexible and how remotely we can actually operate. It's, you know, you just never try it. It's like jumping in the pool, you know, taking that first dive. It's hard to do that first dive, but once you do it, then you realize that it actually can be done. Perhaps you don't have to go to the office every day of the week. Perhaps you can take a day off and work from home. All of those things are now possibilities just by force, sheer force, really. The virus made us do it.
Yeah, and you know, some of the things that I found, you know, as I talk to younger lawyers who are not sure what they should be doing, or you know, how they can, you know, because it's not just solos and bosses who are worried. There's also the associates who are like, am I still going to have a job? How can I, make sure I'm still adding value? And one of the things that I discovered, although maybe there are people in practice management who say, I've been using them for years, but Microsoft Teams, because this is not a plug for them, but because you already have it. Most people already have that. That has been such a blessing, because it's such a great tool to keep communication open and to have like a good central hub.
So that's good to know. What do you do with Teams?
So we do check-ins throughout the day. You can instant message the whole team, or you can do individual instant messages. You can upload documents. So sometimes you don't necessarily want to like send an formal email. And sometimes if you're just going back and forth with a paralegal on a document, you want to be able to say, oh, change that, it's much quicker and it's much more seamless. You can hop on a video call, and then you can have your sort of client management information. So, the to-do lists, the checklists, who's done, which task. And it also gives people, right now, I think everyone's feeling lost. And, when you're not in the office and you don't have that full petition in front of you, which feels so satisfying, this is actually another way of people feeling like, yeah, I just accomplished that task.
Good to know. I mean, I'll check them out. One of the things is I'm checking out everything that I really didn't before. Now, I'm educating myself as I think we all are. Now, how do you, odd question, how do you foresee the practice of immigration law post-COVID? How do you think it's going to change?
Oh, I think it's going to change enormously. The way that we interact with each other, the way that immigration is conducted. I mean, who knows what will happen? I mean, there's many things, right? It's a new world order. So we don't know what's going to happen with the election, which is going to have a huge influence on the future of immigration. We also don't know which areas of the country are going to be affected more than others. I mean, we're already seeing where you are, where I am, a much more of awareness of trying to socially distance, where there's other parts of the country that are like, let's go back to work, and with service centers in various parts. I mean, just look at the issue of biometrics. The very nature of biometrics, like you can't mail it in. You have to, at least the way they have developed it, you have to be there. So we're going to have to figure out systems in place, how we can help the client, how we can help immigration as well. And maybe there'll be a bigger role for attorneys, where as officers of the court, we're going to be trusted with more items to hand over to immigration.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean, as immigration attorneys, not only we have to deal with everything you just mentioned, we also have to deal with, firebombs that are thrown our way. Just yesterday, the senators wrote a letter to just halt all immigration, H-1B visas, OPT, EB-5, which is basically free money that's being brought,
and job creation. I mean, it's incredible job creation. Like, why would you thwart that,
Right. So it's just insane. So not only we have to deal with our lives and then the business lives, but also deal with an administration that is just really unhinged as far as immigration world goes. But yeah, thanks for that. Now, not only you have to deal with everything that we just mentioned, you're also a business owner of another kind. You have a bar in New York. So how are you dealing with that? How is that functioning these days? Your employees, your orders, just the survival of that bar. How's that going?
It is, I think, again, new world order. I'm very grateful for my partners that run it day to day. They've been doing an amazing job trying to organize deliveries. Now in New York, we can do to-go cocktails. So that's been good, but it's not the same. And certainly one of the things that was great through my work with AILA is, figuring out and navigating the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. It's, that has been great, but we're still going to see really difficult times ahead. I think that, large urban areas are going to see less of a mom and pop type of situation, and they'll see more sort of chain restaurants, because really they're going to be the only ones who have the capital behind them to keep going. I'm hoping that, we can keep struggling, because that's what people love. And this is what people are missing right now: community. They want their local bar, they want their local restaurant to reopen, but everyone wants to be safe as well. So, I can foresee, even when things reopen, we're not going to see crowded bars. We're not going to see people congregating massively. Although on a sunny day here, you still see that a little bit. It's a little disconcerting.
Yeah, that's certainly depressing. I know for one thing, I've tried to, I don't know how long it's going to last, but honestly, trying to buy locally, trying to just reduce my carbon footprint as much as possible, even if we, even if it's more difficult. I just think that's really important.
One thing that I've seen offered, especially here, I live in Brooklyn Heights. I'm very, 2 minutes away from downtown Manhattan, and some of the local restaurants, what they've been offering is like their CSA, their farm share. So, the restaurant stays in business, the farms stay in business. The fish and meat, if you eat that, that also is available. So it's not the same, but it's another way to like help these small businesses. So I agree with you. That's, doing that locally is great.
Okay. So finally, you are running an election. You're running for AILA's secretary to join the executive committee of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. And you have competition. So Jeff Joseph has been nominated, and you're running by petition. So there's a choice. AILA folks have a choice. So please tell me, why should AILA members vote for you?
I'm running by petition because I want to give members a choice. There's a lot of members feel very disengaged. They see like one person running for a position and they don't feel like they have skin in the game. And one of the things that I want to tell people, you don't have to have like 1 million people who endorse you. You don't have to have, the nomination committee. Anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. But I'm also qualified. I've been on the board. I've been very engaged with what members need. Right now, we have so many solo practitioners who are suffering. People don't know if they can keep their doors open. It's not a stretch to say if they can support their families. It's a real concern. And I've always been in members' corners. I understand that we also have a PR problem at AILA. Like, people they perceive things in a certain way that, there's a lack of transparency. So I want to dispel that and say, you don't have to be part of some little group. Everyone can be involved. We have 17,000 members. Last time 1,000 came out to vote. We need more engagement, because without members, there is no future. If members stop renewing, if they don't feel engaged, if they don't feel like they're getting anything. But on a high note, one thing that this COVID crisis has highlighted is the AILA community has really come in together through Zoom calls, through letters, through emails. I think we are feeling that connection and really feeling why we are such an important thing for immigration lawyers. And I feel like I have been able to inspire younger members to get involved, and I know my way around like educating people and bringing them in and bringing them together.
Well, great. I wish you all the best. Ballots drop next week, correct?
Actually, but it should be today. Today should be.
Up today.
Yes, yes, yes.
No, I should know, Nina, and I don't know. But
And it's okay. It's okay not to know. It's open till June 18th, so people have plenty of time.
Okay. Well, good luck with your campaign. All the best. And thank you again so much for agreeing to come today to this. I know you're giving me content. I appreciate your time, and I know you're really, really busy campaigning and running 2 businesses. So thank you very much, and hope to see you very soon.
Likewise.
And a virtual hug from Jeff. Yesterday, he asked me to give you a virtual hug. So
I'll right back at him. I think that's the new hug.
all right. Thanks, Nina. Bye-bye.
Bye.